If you're a light worker feeling lost, then this is for you. There's a lot of light workers at the moment with this big question mark. Then the question mark says, I don't know where to go. What is my purpose? What am I meant to be doing? There's a directionlessness. And with that comes a sense of being helpless and hopeless and a fruitlessness and a futility and all of these things that surface because in the past, we used to take our cue and our direction energetically from the very false matrix that we were born to. The false matrix was established to propagate a world away from the divine matrix. In other words, a world away from God. So the divine matrix is God's world. The false matrix is the archonic world that we were born to. We came here to shift the archonic world of the false matrix back into its original form. But in so doing, we knew that we would need to be born to the rules of the false matrix, which meant that you were going to forget who you were, your origin, your multidimensionality, the miracle of your own cosmic nature, the infinite power that you hold. You were going to forget, you were going to get unplugged from all of that and plugged into a false matrix that would feed you cues. It would program you energetically to think in a certain way. It would hold you in a energy lock. That means that the false matrix, essentially for all of us, locked us into a paradigm that we couldn't move from unless some serious intervention happened, which it has. The serious intervention has happened in two places. The one is externally. The galactics intervened, seeing all that was set up against us, all that was established to hold humanity in this phase lock, this energy lock, kind of like an energetic prison that we were put into, where we couldn't re-engage with the true self and therefore couldn't leave the false matrix. The galactics cleared that which was outside of us. So that means the atmosphere, the energetic world around us was cleared of the signal, the broadcast signal of the false matrix. But that meant the memory of the false matrix was going to be our responsibility to dismantle from within. So those signals that the false matrix was, and by the way, they were not just limited to the atmosphere of our planet. Those signals were broadcast through the entirety of the solar system. The solar system was part of the broadcast signal holding humanity in that phase lock or that mental prison that the false matrix was. The memory of the false matrix is that of the false matrix which we adopted inside of us as truth. And that's what we're dismantling right now. And the reason why a lot of people feel very question marky, like they're in limbo, like they're lost, like they don't know where they're going, they're confused, they're waiting. What next? What's going to happen next? Is Trump going to be president? Is the world going to be okay? We're looking for external cues instead of the miracle that's happened. If your cues don't come from the external world anymore, it's because they don't come from the false matrix anymore. It's because the false matrix is not domineering you anymore. And nobody ever got the memo. We weren't born to a world that said, look, you're basically being guided by darkness. You're basically being programmed by darkness. Instead, we got the memo that said, you're free and everything's fine. And this is modern, the cutting era, or rather the cutting edge of the modern era. That's where you are. Aren't you lucky? That was the memo that we got. And then we scratched our head and said, well, why do I feel this way? Well, we felt this way because we were living in a really unnatural world, but we had no way of understanding that. We had no way of knowing that. So when that stops guiding you, when you stop being led by the programs and the signals of the false matrix, and remember I said there were two places, right? There were two places of intervention. I said to you, the one is the galactics from the external, but the other is the light workers on planet Earth from the internal level, breaking through all of their inner programming, all of the memory of the false matrix that they adopted into themselves as their truth, in the collapsing and the alchemizing of all of that. The light workers of planet Earth became a second force of light, a second source of light. So galactics cleared from the external, the light workers cleared from the internal, but the clearing is ongoing. And a lot of light workers need this part of the memo. The work of the inner clearing is much deeper, much bigger than you think it is, much easier. Just because it's deeper doesn't mean it's harder, more difficult, more treacherous. It means don't sit back and go, okay, I've done the work now. I've connected to an inner light, or I've connected to source, or I've connected to the universe. Now I must wait for everybody else. This is the important part. Now you go deeper than you've been before. You go beyond where you took yourself to. It's time to move forward, because why? Humanity is on the brink, you guys. Humanity is on the brink of massive radical shifts in consciousness, massive radical shifts on planet Earth. We are on the brink of stepping into a new era. And I'm not going to put up a video about it yet, although I've been very, very tempted to, because I don't want to preempt what's coming through. I want this to be organic. I don't want to be a mouthpiece that says, this is what's happening, and then people kind of sit back and wait for it to happen. There is a new era, a new paradigm that we're literally on the doorstep of. And I know we're going to walk through, and I can see us walking through. But this conversation is a little bit of a bolstering to the energy that's been building, wherein the lead, the energetic lead for each person must come from within. Instead of being led by darkness, it's time to be led by inner light. And to be led by inner light, you have to connect much deeper. This is the important part. You must connect deeper than you've been before. So if you've had moments of grace and epiphany and love and connection to God, to the universe, okay, take that a lot deeper now. And if you haven't, if you say, oh, I missed that, I didn't get any of that, go to my website. There is an online shop with loads of guided meditations. Some of them are free. Go have a look. This is really the starting block of connection to self. It's in the stillness. That's why the guided meditations are a beautiful step to reclaiming a new connection to self. But once that connection is in place, broaden it, deepen it, expand it. Hello, my plasma light tribe. I know you guys are watching this. Thank you so much from my heart all the way to yours. You know what you're doing on planet Earth right now. And we're doing it together. Now we're inviting in all of the other light workers to step into their higher alignment, to step into a deeper connection to the light that they are. Not to a light outside of them, but to the light that they are, because that is where our guidance is coming from now, and must come from now, in order for us to take our next step. Our next step is towards being self-led. And when that happens en masse, when the light workers are more self-led than they are today, so that means in the next couple of hours, and the next couple of days, and the next couple of weeks, and the next couple of months, if we keep expanding our capacity to self-lead, to self-direct, then that's going to eradicate the futility and the limbo and the where to next and the why do I feel so lost and the continual looking out there for a guidance and a something to give you direction, a purpose to give you direction. Your purpose is you, but the tuning in and the connecting at a deeper level is the important part with the light workers. And this is where I see a lot of light workers hovering. They're either waiting for a teacher to tell them what comes next, or they're waiting for the world to show them what comes next. You must choose. You must choose. The interesting things that come from here, ooh la la, I cannot wait to share them with you. I've been having amazing meetings, connections, and conversations with the galactics recently. And when that happens, when we have lots of meetings and conversations, it always precedes a very big shift for humanity. This is it. Can you feel that? I wonder if you can. And I'd love to hear in the comments what you say. If you can feel like there's this big paradigm shift on the brink. And every single one of you listening, plays a part. I'd love for you to like the video, because that sends a little trigger to YouTube to share the video with more people. I'd love you to interact in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because it's time that more light workers experience the message of their power. We are the ones that we were waiting for. You're the one that you were waiting for. You're not lost. You are exactly where you are. But to find yourself, you must connect to yourself. To connect to yourself means there will be moments of discomfort as everything suppressed is now rising. I want to draw your attention to something. Just before I go, I want to draw your attention to something amazing, and that is release. As in energetic, emotional release is very, very, very automatic right now. So to create the visual for you, imagine that there's this effervescence at an energetic level. There is this effervescence, and it's almost like you're burning off or bubbling off density, turmoil, past life stuff, ancestral baggage, unclaimed stuff, unhealed, unresolved. The density is beginning to bubble up to the surface, but it needs you to witness. It needs you to offer it safe passage out. And the way that you do that is you witness. But a witness doesn't watch something and go, ooh, 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 with judgment, whether the judgment is, ooh, 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 this is good, or ooh, 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 this is bad. The witness needs to be a very neutral, like a partial observer, right? Or I should say an impartial. Where did that come from? An impartial observer. So it's kind of like to bring in a level of sacred neutrality. I put up a video fairly recently, delving a lot deeper into sacred neutrality. I'm going to link it in the video description box for you, and I'll put it up here. So go ahead and watch that one, because sacred neutrality is an exceptional tool to have right now. And I'd love for you to be able to use that tool. This is from my heart, all the way into yours. So much love. Bye-bye for now.